Hello there, YouTube. This is another installment of the Liberty Guys, and what I've got here today is a page I've printed out off of FoxNews.com about an article about the debt ceiling increase. The most remarkable thing about this is that the Republicans in the Senate introduced legislation to block it. They don't want to raise the debt ceiling yet again. Problem is they've got plenty of Democrats in the Senate that'll vote and follow Obama's lead, and they want to give him another $1.2 trillion. Now, as I read this, it says the national debt crisis has skyrocketed from Obama's first term from $10.6 trillion to $15.2 trillion. That's in less than 4 years, like he took office in 09, technically. He won in 08, so he took office in January of 09. Here it is, January of 12. So it's 3 years. He shot it up almost $5 trillion. 4.4 trillion is what, if I'm reading this number right. 15.6 would be 5 trillion, yeah. 4.6 trillion in 3 years. There's it's funny. My wife reads this Facebook mess all the time, and on there's this little joke floating around that's apparently put out by some sort of twisted piece of media that shows this chart of percentages of the amount of debt increase for each president going back all the way to Reagan. And it shows, of course, Reagan and the Bush presidencies with these super high charts, and then, of course, the Clinton era and the Obama era is real low. Like, it shows Obama with only like a 10% increase. What they don't show you is that he's done went up $5 trillion doing this. $5 trillion is 10%. Now, I don't see where they get their math. $5 trillion is a freaking bunch of money, okay? The entire national debt in the 80s, I would have to look again, but I don't even think it was a trillion then at all. Just, it was in billions, okay? And now we've shooted up $5 trillion in 3 years. Where's the problem? And it's coming to the point to where the government can't pay its bills. And even right here it says, Republican Pennsylvania Senator Pat Toomey said the government must live within its means. He says, our government's headed towards a fiscal crisis. They know it's coming. That's the problem. They see it freaking coming. And now is not the time for the government to take out yet another credit card. You know, it's not a credit card when you print your own money. I would call it counterfeiting at this point, because it's not even real money. It's not backed by anything other than the fact that we will accept it. That's it. There's nothing else backing it other than the value of the paper it's printed on. I mean, that has a little value. I guess you could print newspapers out of it or something. But the money isn't worth anything. It's only worth anything because somebody will accept it. So, he's not pulling a line of credit. They're just willing to print excess money and type bigger numbers into spreadsheets on Excel and upload them to the either world of banking. And it's not even funny anymore. It's just sad. They're already trying to scare troop salaries and Social Security benefits and Medicare bills. Of course, they're not going to cut the wasted departments, the Department of Commerce and Department of Education and all that crap that has proven that it has, their track records are completely worthless. They won't touch those. They'll always go for Medicare, Social Security, and payroll for the military. So, once again, that's a scary tactic to get what they want. But, it's just sad to see our government running away with it. And we're supposed to foot the bill for this. Who in their right mind could go to the bank, and what bank in its right mind would loan someone money, knowing that they're upside down $10.6 trillion, loan them another 4.6 over a 3-year period, with no hopes of getting paid back for it whatsoever, and then ask for another 1.2 to get them through, probably for a couple of months or something. I'm sure it doesn't say how long. It just says they want to increase it 1.2 trillion. So what I think he's trying to do is, I think the current administration is trying to limp through to the end of this year, right past November, get past the elections, and then dump this problem in the next president's lap. That's the only thing I can see. It's either that, they're not going to default, because if they default, that means they have to shut the government down. They ain't going to do that. These people don't want to lose the control they have, so they're not going to shut down the government. What I see them doing is either it'll come to the crisis point of default, and they'll instill martial law to quell the rioting that's going to go into the streets when you cut off the money for the Medicare and the dadgum Social Security checks and welfare checks. And these people, their lives depend on this money. The government has made them dependent on this system by entitlement dependency. What's the correct term? They've enabled them. They're enablers of this type of living. And when the checks cease to come, these people are going to need some money to eat. So they're going to have to figure out somewhere to get it. And it's just going to get ugly. They've already instituted the NDAA so that they can use military on U.S. soil without repercussions. So now, they can throw their weight around for this whole debt ceiling thing, and they'll probably get it because they want the money, and they want to be able to run the government another couple of weeks or whatever. But this is just silly. I mean, it's just pathetic, and they're not even trying to sneak this around or anything. You wonder where all the money goes. How do you burn trillions of dollars in just weeks? I mean, really. But then they said, we have 11 carrier fleets. Count them, 11 aircraft carrier fleets. Not just carriers, but fleets that support the carriers. That's a lot of floating metal in the ocean that has a lot of money to keep it moving. That's just the Navy. The Air Force has no telling how much hardware floating around in the air above you. It's just incredible. The numbers are staggering. But yeah, you need to do some digging, research for yourself. I highly recommend doing some research on this and figuring out, do we really need to go trillions and trillions more in the hole? And then when it does default, what's going to happen then? You can't just turn this off. Somebody's due some money, and somebody's going to want it. You need to think about that. And with that, I think I'll sign off for this week. I'm looking at about 7.5 minutes. I try to keep these videos less than 10, just so it doesn't, drag on and I don't get on endless rants. But put some comments down below. We're starting to get a few views. Subscribe. All I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to tell somebody what to do. I'm just trying to stimulate your thought. Get you to thinking about things. I want people to do their own research. I want them to find out for themselves. I don't want them to think I'm trying to make them be anarcho-capitalist or libertarian or Republican or Democrat. That ain't about what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to get you to think. You need to go think about it. You need to look it up and see for yourself, because this affects every American, not just me, not just the Republicans, not just the Democrats, all of us, all the Americans. So go dig it up. And if you think I'm wrong, post it. I mean, I won't delete your post as long as you don't use a lot of excessive profanity, because I want to keep it family friendly to where anybody can read the post. So that's the only time I'll pull a post is, you don't be dropping the F-bombs. We don't need that. So, keep it civil. I'm all about having a debatable conversation. So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. And this is Dave with the Liberty Guys signing off. Y'all have a good one.